So, I don't know what's been going on with you, Rob. What's the
Oh
news?
man, well, I can just preface this by saying that I am very hungover again.
Again. You should be
as
like me and be a
anyone
basement dweller.
as anyone who's watching this from Mosh Talks will probably attest to, because I went into London again last night and met up with my friend Dan, and we went into the Dev in Camden, the Devonshire Arms, for a couple of drinks. I haven't been there since probably February, I would say.
Bloody hell.
And in that time, they've done it up a bit. They've got some pretty sweet stuff. How it worked, obviously, was we had to book beforehand, and
Yeah.
we it was just me and him. So don't worry, Boris. We were in less than 6 people, and we were sitting at this. We were sitting actually at the bar as opposed to on a table, which is quite neat. But if you sit at a bar, you want to order from that position. But I still had to kind of walk around in a line that was taped off, and then get the drinks from there.
I'm sure. If Boris found out, he'd just sit at the bar with you anyway. If he gives you a student talking to, they'll probably last an hour. So I think you're all right there. You get a few pints in beforehand.
No. Nigel Farage, you always see a photo of him in a pub, don't you?
I'm gonna say the F word, Farage. Yeah.
But actually, what they had a Guinness pint puller,
Really?
which had a USB port in, which I was very pleased.
See,
about.
when a lockdown happens, that's when people actually discover that technology
Innovate
exists.
things, yeah. Which the thing is, I was on furlough for so long, and yet in that time I was very uninnovative, shall we say?
I mean, the people who are very techy just go backwards, and the people who aren't very techy go forwards. I mean,
well, it's like even when with furlough, I found it like even being bored and lazing about required effort on my part.
Yeah, I think
it's such a weird thing to say. Maybe it's a psychological thing. It's just like there's no point in getting up and actually even doing the most minimalist type of thing. But I just found myself sitting on my hands quite a lot.
Yeah, the real question is, has anybody missed Jaeger bombs, or are they like, I'm glad I got away from that for months on end?
Oh, yeah. The week beforehand, I went into Uxbridge with Dan, and we went to a mate of ours, mutual friend.
Yeah.
His birthday celebration. We just sat in the park and brought deck chairs and a few drinks. But my mate, Bruce, don't you?
Bruce. Oh yeah, Bruce. Yeah.
Who we camped with last year.
Yeah.
He started to go back to his house and bring Jaeger bombs back with him.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've had it since uni, and the sensation is you never get over. Just how raw it is.
I know. Like, Metros in Cardiff now opened yesterday, and they were fully booked. So that's the place I've missed the most, because it's very much like the underworld of Cardiff, if you will. And I'm just happy to be knowing that it's open, and I have the freedom to go there whenever I want. The thing is, like, before, when I was a student, I'd pre-drink a lot. But as I've gotten older, you get more of an income. Pre-drinking is a bit more, I don't know, a bit more faint than if you were a student. I don't know if that it's the same on your end. Would you say?
Well, it's become a sort of almost a ritual, really.
Yeah.
Sort of. Well, I don't pre-drink. Well, it was at uni. I don't pre-drink anymore, really, because I just don't. I always leave things till the last minute.
I
get the last possible train I could get into London, and I usually run to the train station because I know. Again, I'm sitting on my hands and I get distracted by a podcast, and then all of a sudden, oh God, it's going to take me 15 minutes to walk. I'm not very good at that sort of thing.
Well, the comedian that I've worked with, Ignacio Lopez, who lives in Cardiff as well, he did have a segment on pre-drinking, and it's just like, so what is this pre-drinking that you all do? So it's you drink to get pissed before you go out to get pissed. So why do you do it? You just buy drinks, get pissed, save time,
money,
and then what do you do when you go out? Yeah, you get pissed again.
Yeah, exactly. You drink more.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna. You know what? That's an interesting point you've raised. I was wondering what happened to your because you did a fair bit of stand up, didn't you?
Yeah.
Last year.
It's a mixture of things, really. I think it is quite a saturated market. Like whenever I message people, only a few come back. Some of them say, "Yeah, we'll book you in," and then others will say, "We're full, but after the new year, we've got some stuff lined up." But you know what happened? You know, a lot of stuff got shut down and things.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't really return the call. So that's why I kind of like went more to YouTube, because I like felt like I could do my own thing and not wait on hand for other people to respond back to me, and so I could just continue to do my stuff in my own sort of space and time.
All right, fair. Do you ever like send them a demo reel of your material? Is that what stand up, like people who book stand up for their venues are looking for?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does help get you noticed. Some places just say, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll book you in." I've already got a video up for that one comedy thing I did. So I normally link that. I might link my YouTube, depending on if it's really that relevant, because you know, stand-up's a bit different to like just sitting in front of the camera and reacting to stuff on Reddit or doing the top tens. But a lot of the time, I don't know. It's I guess after the whole COVID thing, I didn't really want to do any live streaming events or something, or I just didn't make the time for it. I guess that's just.
Oh, you know, that's the big news, obviously, with Facebook, is that they're going to stop music live streaming.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know, but basically, my mate Sam wasn't very happy about it because he was streaming a lot of his gigs and stuff, and apparently you can't. I think I don't know what the black and the red tape and the whole reading between lines of it is, but as far as I know, it's like you can't like play covers or anything.
I've had that happen more with my covers. Like
I could be wrong.
Well, I used to be.
It's something to do with not Facebook are going to ban live streaming music or something.
That's weird, because
Stamp their foot down.
Well, when I was doing still do them, my vocal covers and stuff, I put them up on Facebook as well, because normally YouTube videos don't get noticed on Facebook as much as Facebook videos. And then it was an issue of getting more mutings and stuff like that than I previously did. Whereas YouTube, they more so say, there is a claim, we won't take down the video, but any ad revenue you get on this video will go straight to the artist, which is fair enough. And Matt Heafy came out with a video saying it's not down to him. Heafy, yeah, sorry. Saying that it's not strictly down to the artist, it's down to the record labels. Some record labels get owned by higher record labels, and if the top decides they want this stuff taken down, then the lower record labels don't really have a leg to stand on in that sense.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But what can you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Nitsurge89, trying to get into a music career nowadays sucks. I mean,
that's kind of why I don't really pursue it as much. I just do what I do on the internet, and I'm not like, I always say, like, I'm a free agent and stuff like that. But even like I see people around me, like we talked about Milk Teeth not so long ago with their disbanding, and it just
with their disbanding and then Becky having to work these jobs. It's not. I mean, in terms of my own music, in terms of my band, which I'm actually having another rehearsal tonight with them, good lads. We're getting a fair bit of gigs, and we had a bit of momentum going. Before this whole thing hit, but we still weren't. We're kind of getting paid peanuts really for our gigs.
Yeah,
and the rehearsal costs money, and lugging the gear and yada.
Yeah, I do quite take a bit of a disliking to when a lot of venues, like mainly pub venues, do exploit the playing for free and that sort of stuff, or making the band members pay to play.
I almost fell for that last year when I was kind of looking for gigs. There was a woman who from some agency who messaged my Facebook page, and I was kind of going, "Oh, I'm actually getting gigs, great," and then show the fine print of this contract thing to my uncle, and he was like, he's a professional musician, and he's like, "No, stay well away from that, mate."
Because the thing is, they're going to put it up on a local Facebook page or something, and that's going to be hardly any exposure as it is, because it's more of a local. Yeah, That's the thing. For
Exposure's
exposure,
a horrible word.
it's
You
a
know,
very
horrible
abused
trade-off,
system.
a horrible trade-off for your skills, shall we say?
The same sort of kind of thing happened when in my like short-lived wrestling days of training. Like I mentioned about when they were telling us to put up posters and things like that. But you know, I can understand like helping them out and stuff like that. But nobody when you're driving around from one place to an hour away to put posters up, and you're doing that like once or twice a week and using up a lot of fuel, and nobody's actually paying you back for that fuel to begin with. It's that whole issue of paying your dues just goes right out the window. And I asked one of my friends who's been in the wrestling business for years, and he said that is a way to exploit the naivety of trainees. It's not you know, paying your dues at all. Yeah, by all means, like teach them how to do certain things. But when I came back to Wales and I was training, I did a bit of training over here. There was they put it all on a credit system. Like if you do decide to help us out putting posters up, then we will simply either give you money for it or give you money off for your next training sessions, which I think happy days. You know, it's
But it's you know, it's a loophole, isn't it? It's kind of like a underhanded type thing to make you more invested, and it's not actually beneficial to you.
Yeah, like I did in my video a few months ago of for exposure. You know, when people are like, "Oh, why don't you take free commissions? Okay, enjoy living out on the streets and stuff like that."
Mm-hmm. You know, Dan started a busking career. Our mutual friend Dan, who we went to download with last year, he says he seems to be taking this busking career quite seriously. But he told me an instance where I don't know if I mentioned this on the last podcast, but he was busking and just really late at night after he'd finished the sesh, and he was really drunk, and he just decided to take his guitar and go to Angel or somewhere in London, and he was playing for about, I don't know, half an hour, and then he went back, and he looked in his case, sort of thing, 50 quid note.
Oh, nice. No buttons or anything.
It's like these inner city banker types, you know, they just. I don't know who it was. He didn't specify who actually gave him that money, to be fair, but you know,
I remember
50 quid is pretty much like, I don't even make that at my gigs, you know.
Yeah, I remember getting lost in Angel like years and years ago. That was after I saw Mastodon, and I did not understand how night buses worked or where they went. It was just the worst experience of my life. I was trying to get to Penge, where my cousin lived at the time, to stay, because I was staying at his, and I just couldn't get there. By the time I got to his, I had 1% left on my phone. Lucky, so lucky. I didn't get lost.
You know that speaking of London venues, actually, the Electro Works is on its knees a bit, which is quite sad. It's usually where they have voodoo and stuff. You know, the rock club nights and things.
All right, yeah.
I think it's kind of on its knees at the moment, which is it'll be very sad if that goes as well as a result of this pandemic. Yeah, the Ninja Nitsaj says the play in our pub scam is so demotivating. His band barely takes practice seriously, and they do it for fun more than anything. I guess we kind of do our practice for fun. We don't really take it that seriously either, but we've got such a chemistry now.
Yeah.
Because basically every Sunday of last year, we were using a practice room for free, essentially. A mate of ours, Dad's company, was like located out on the sticks somewhere, so there's no noise pollution or anything.
Yeah, I think it's just the principle.
We did it pretty much every Sunday, and then we kind of got really quite tight as a band. And then after a year of this, he was like, right, you're going to have to find somewhere else. And we were like, fair enough, you know, because we're quite tight at this point. The ones we actually pay for, we kind of do a lot of faffing around. I don't know whether it's going to be the same instance this evening, but
yeah. No,
but just going back to the pub. I mean, just going back to the dev thing. I actually realised it's been so long as well since I went for post-sesh grub.
Yeah,
and specifically, I'm talking about fried chicken shops. And the humble high street fried chicken vendor place.
Down here, you got Chippy Lane. You've got to see Chippy Lane. That's the best.
Chippy Lane.
Yeah.
A place where the only greenery you'll find is the salads that are tossed off the kebabs.
Oh, not anywhere else. No euphemisms involved in that.
Yeah, it was I had one of those for the first time in ages last night, and just realised just how dour the whole thing is.
Wow. I think it's just like, I don't know, like I've ordered plenty of contactless deliveries and things like that, even though they just hand the bag to you. They just stand 1 foot away from you than normal. That's, and then they call it somehow contactless. Yeah, it makes sense. But it's, I don't want to just say it is what it is. I am worried about what is going to happen after lockdown, but I digress. It's neither here or there. But I think we've spoken enough about that.
Yeah,
about
definitely.
the whole
Yeah,
lockdown.
I think not very interesting, but we made it interesting by our mindless digression into other topics.
Yeah,
So
it is still important
that's
to
what
talk
we're
about
all about here
and spread
on
the
the
word.
podcast.
I paid a punch someone in the face if they make me do that, But I'm not a very violent person. That's just more of a passive punch than anything else.